To the left and to the right, we got fires burning. Most of us are in the middle, we're just learning. Got a feeling that the tide's finally turning. Cause every one of us is tired of all this hurting. Try to have faith, try to be strong, try not to say anything wrong. Try to be brave, try to move on, try to find where you belong. Try to bring change while holding on to who you are, where you're from. You won't always get it right, but you can try. It's so beautiful, this crazy world we live in. Through the joy and through the chaos, it keeps spinning. So if you ever feel your heart is tired of giving, take a look a little closer, love is winning. So you gotta have faith, gotta be strong, try not to say anything wrong. Try to be brave, try to move on, try to find where you belong. Try to bring change while holding on to who you are, where you're from. You won't always get it right, but you can try. You can try. Look for the silver lining, look for the perfect timing. Look to find the good in every heart. Turn a new page and dive in. Turn on your light and shine it, burning like a candle in the dark. And try to have faith, try to be strong, try not to say anything wrong. Try to bring change while holding on to who you are, where you're from. You won't always get it right. Sometimes you'll fall, sometimes you'll fly. No, you won't always get it right, but you can try. You can try. You can try.
Hello everybody, welcome back, or welcome here, or nice to see you again, or hello for the first time. We are here to do a little chit-chatting. I'm sure you can always tell by my thumbnails the type of videos that these are going to be, and you can probably tell it's going to be a long one. I want to take a moment and an opportunity at the end of the year to kind of do a yearly recap. Talk a little bit about the ups and downs of 2023, and by golly, there is a lot that has happened. Some of which I'm still kind of working through in the last days of December right now. I am filming this on December, I believe it's 28th today, so we've just passed, you know, the first of the major festive holidays. New Year's is coming up. I still have a lot of things going on my plate, but it didn't quite feel right to wrap up the year just kind of with nothing, you know, essentially without wrapping it up. So we're gonna try this and just see what happens. A little look back on the roller coaster that has been this year, and I really wanted the opportunity also to kind of speak out loud into the world, kind of my wishes and my aspirations, or the direction in life I want to work towards for 2024. I used to call them like resolutions or this or that, and by all means call it whatever that you like and what feels right to you, but I think it's not necessarily a goal to accomplish per se, but a direction to move towards. So I invite you to go and grab your cozy beverage of choice. I've got some instant coffee in here, which isn't the greatest, but we have my favorite creamer in here, so that makes up for all of it. Of course, I'm also filming on my cell phone, which you can probably tell. It's dark. It's like dark super early nowadays. I'm sure my neighboring like apartment building neighbors are like, what's this girl doing with her ring light and all that? They're gonna have lots of thoughts about what I do, but really I'm just talking to you in a year-end video. So they're going to be real disappointed. Yeah, I invite you to go and get cozy, get what you need, take what you need, get yourself a cozy drink, a blanket, whatever. We're going to be here for a while and have a bit of a chat. Lots of you mentioned that you really enjoy these more chatty real life videos, and I don't always get an opportunity to do them, but here's our chance to talk a little bit about what's been happening the last 12 months. I remember making a year-end video last year, and it was kind of a voiceover or like a script, you know, a text situation. It was probably a vlog. I was probably like cooking a New Year's Eve meal. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. And I talked about 2022 being just so hard, and to, you know, leave all the troubles behind and just move into a new year, right? I ended last year at the end of the year being quite rough, especially on the work front. And 2023 has just been a year of major ups and downs. In one word, I would call it roller coaster. You know, a roller coaster of like emotions and things happening in life. And how many of you had like what you would consider an awesome year this year? Like, I am happy for you if that is what transpired. But I'm also curious how many of you have just been feeling like the last couple of years have been a real slump. And it's not just a slump because, you know, post-COVID slump, although I'm sure that's part of it, but between just like things just kind of stack up and we're feeling overwhelmed all the time, and, you know, things have been tricky. Like the bygone days of just simpler life. Like, am I getting old? Is this my aging talking? I'm not sure, because I certainly have had that feeling over the last few years. Has been hard. Not to say there weren't pockets of joy, but many tricky things happening, the ups and downs of life, right? So unfortunately, I'm going to call it what it is. 2023 still sort of sucked. And I want to kind of go over some of the lessons and things I've learned over this year. And I want to start right off with health stuff has been rough this year. At the end of last year, 2022, my work partner, you know how you have like work partners, like whether they're just like a real bestie or you do work that's just so interconnected. For me, it's more of the latter, but we're, you know, year after year continuing to develop our relationship. But really, my work partner, like, she does the same thing that I do. Like, we're so interconnected in that way, and I rely on her and she relies on me. It's like mutual trust and respect, right? But she got into an injury in December of last year, and I remember just feeling like this is not the way I wanted to end the year. And injuries recover, sure, but it took her quite a long time. She had other health complications that slowed down her recovery. But I started, you know, January 2023, completely overwhelmed at work. And we had switched administrators. I work as a teacher. And last school year, I worked in resource and learning support. So I worked a lot with students with varying abilities, diverse abilities, other types of, you know, medical, neurological, mental health, like all realm of things, because in elementary school you just got like one person, and it's a lot of work. It's very rewarding work. It's slow but rewarding, but after a couple years I was kind of ready to shuffle a little, right? Because it really drains on you, and especially when you didn't have your work partner, like your other half that you can bounce ideas off of. Like, January was rough. And it took a long time to adjust to a new equilibrium, where with my work partner being gone, like, are we getting a substitute? They can't do a lot of the things, not to their fault, but they just don't know, you know, the nitty gritty stuff that you would need to. So January, February, probably March was all really rough. And then I had made the career decision to scale down my FTE, like my work hours or my work week, so I suppose. I was getting so burnt out with work. The accumulation of working, the number of years in my position as an educator, but also just needing some time to figure out the other parts of my life, right? So I decided to scale down to 4 days, so working a 0.8, which so far has been great. You know, September started this school year and it's been great so far, because I could not have handled all the things I'm currently handling if I was still working my full-time 5 days a week. My work partner is slowly healing, still in the process of healing, but back at it, which is really joyful. Like that's like it started off as a dip, but then, you know, there's some small pockets of joy, right? Come June, which is the end of the school year, I wasn't sure if I was going to have a job because since I was switching positions, I still wanted to be at my same school. Due to HR and logistics, I had to reapply into a position that I was essentially working, but now was split into 2 parts. So I was doing combined position. HR had to split it, hire someone new for the LSS part, and I would take on just teaching English to students who don't speak English yet. And up until June, like the last day of school, I wasn't sure if I had a job lined up for September. I didn't end up applying anywhere else. I was like, this is a place I wanted to be. I put all my eggs in one basket. Things came through. It was fine. I, you know, got my job back, so to speak, at my same location, and all that was like, it was good, but it was really stressful all the way until the last day because I wasn't sure if I was going to have a job or not, which that was scary. But things worked out okay in the end. By June, we were all right. I did some camping, as you could tell from some of the vlogs in the last while. That is a new thing for me for this year, and I have really enjoyed it. I'm learning a lot of things. When I was at a recent friend reunion, they were all surprised that I was the person who got outdoors, because I am by far not an outdoorsy person. But you know, I'm in my camp era. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of trying new things, starting responsible fires, learning how to sleep outside. It's all the stuff I didn't get to do as a kid for various reasons, but I'm exploring new things. So camp has been a high for 2023. I think I went on like 5 camp trips in the course of like 4 months, something like that, something ridiculous. And I hope to carry that into the next year as well, but I'll cycle back to that in a second. On the flip side of things, jumping back into kind of that, you know, emotional up and down, I had my last grandparent who passed away this year. Relationships with grandparents are interesting. I find some people have super close, tight-knit, fond memories of their grandparents. And not to say I don't have those pockets of memories as well, but I have conflicted feelings about, you know, my relationship with my extended family. Still working through how I want those relationships to grow. But it does still wear on you, right? To have, you know, your last living grandparent pass. My second last living grandparent passed not too long before this one. And just, you also really feel for the other people in your lives. Like, I really felt, you know, a sense of sadness for my parents, for my aunties who, you know, they've lost their mom and dad, right? Like, it's really, really hard. And I wasn't quite sure how to process those feelings. I think I'm still trying to figure it out. And that will lead to something in 2024 that I'll talk about. But hard things, right? Hard things when you are not necessarily super, super close to your family, but it still has an impact on you. And speaking of impact, I have learned the hard way this year that taking care of your body is real important. And I've got a story for you with that one. Up in probably May, I did a funny twisty thing with my back. No big deal. I'm youngish, you know, backs heal. And sometimes you just like do something a little funny and you say it will heal. Most things do. Give it time. A little ice and some time. It got better for a while, then it got worse, then it got better, then worse. Then come October, it got real bad. It was so bad that I couldn't sit in one position for more than like 10-15 minutes without feeling pain. Standing was the only okay-ish position. I couldn't reach up, I couldn't reach down. Like, it was not a good phase. And I went on my first appointment with a physiotherapist. Who knew? As in my current job, I have pretty good extended health, which is great. But it's a little scary to go to these things for the first time and, you know, like, help me not be so broken. But I've also never done any of these things. And of course, you know, we are now in December, and I have been living in the last probably 8 weeks, so 2 months, trying to support, you know, someone I care about a lot who's going through undetermined medical things. With everything that people say and love about the free healthcare system over here, it has many benefits. It benefits many, many people, like a broader range of people. But it also has a downside of just everything taking so long and the lack of options for private healthcare. Like, if you are willing to fork over the money, can I go and see somebody, right? The lack of ability to do those things. And when you're in a position with someone who doesn't really have a diagnosis but has been with an extended illness for a while, it's really frustrating and it wears on you. Over the last 8 weeks, I've been my first visit to the ER. I've accompanied on lots of specialist visits, and you know, the waiting and the managing symptoms, and in more recent weeks, like the mental health aspect has been really a struggle. And this is with me having worked with students with varying abilities, neurodiverse learners. I have a better foundation of kind of mental health than I would say the average person who isn't in my career role. And I was able to help redirect them to different professional supports. But as someone that, you know, you care about, you feel really hopeless because you can't take away their pain. You can't wave a magic wand and make it better. You try and comfort them, give reassurance, but you're not a medical professional, right? And sometimes the medical professionals tell you things that are like, seriously? You know, to be the person supporting someone who has an extended illness, I wasn't sure how to handle that. And that's part of what's been really weighing me down the last while, and I haven't had the mental capacity, the emotional capacity, the physical capacity sometimes to do very much else. It's like, go to work, you know, try and be the supportive person when I'm outside of work, sometimes at work, you know, you might be just the person that they need to reach out to. And it is so hard because you wish you could just fix it, right? Give them answers, fix it, all of that stuff. And I would say up until now, we're still on a journey to figuring out what's going on. I won't go too deep, but from what I have researched, and I've done a lot of research over the last while, it's probably nothing super serious, but it's just hard not to know a timeline of when things are getting better definitively, and not really getting a proper diagnosis. I know many of you watching this may have been a support to someone with chronic or extended illness, or just a mystery illness, you know, and that is so hard. I'd love to hear your, you know, your experience in how to cope with being a caregiver while still maintain your sense of self, you know. And I find that as someone who self-identifies as an HSP, a highly sensitive person, I am really hard on myself in that. Like, I always want to be in that supportive and caring role, but on the flip side, it really wears on me, especially because my job is also very socially and like emotionally draining. So to say that I am emotionally drained is an absolute understatement. But We've got some more appointments come in the next couple of weeks. I think some big decisions are going to be made, hopefully a lot more clarity. It just really sucks not to know, right? At the end of the day, I'm sure that's with a lot of things. But at almost 17 minutes, let's do a swap-a-roo and look at what's there to look forward to in 2024. When I was young, I couldn't even fathom what it meant to be in like 2024. To be clear, if you can't tell by a lot of the other things in my life, I am a millennial. I think statistically I am, or mathematically I'm a millennial. And I remember the turning of like Y2K, right? And now we're like 2024. That's crazy. So I think my overarching theme for 2024, I want it to be nourish, right? To me, nourishing means multiple aspects of your life. It means both your mental side of things, your emotional, your relationships, just your sense of well-being overall. I think nourish is what I want to work towards and kind of keep in my mind's eye as I go through the start of this new year. And it involves a couple of things. So I want to delve into that. It's going to be, I wanted to kind of make this part of the video as well, because despite how bad things had been or have been or still sort of is, I always want to be hopeful about the future. I think that's one part as humans we have that's so powerful, to have hope and just the will for things to get better, right? So here goes. Let me know if these are some of the same crossover things that you have as well. So for starters, this girl needs a better beauty routine, all right? Having said that, I'm a millennial. I'm like in my 30s. And the beauty routines that I had when I was, still a blogger, when I was in university, all of that stuff, they are not doing it for me anymore. Not only because I've really scaled down in the number of products I want to use on the day-to-day, but just some of the things that I got really good at adapting to my features and doing no longer serve me in the same way that they used to when I was more youthful. With that being said, I still don't want like a giant complicated routine, but I feel like I would feel much better about my day-to-day if I had a routine, right? Something that I felt really comfortable with is kind of like my go-to, so to speak. And I want to continue to explore that part. This year, I had made a goal to like keep one beauty thing consistent in my life. And this year had been nails. So as of the moment, my nails are done. Come on, camera. There you go. So I've pretty much consistently kept my nails painted. And for some of you, this is kind of like trivial and silly, but for me, my nails break really easily. And having polish on my nails, figure out the products that work best for me in my once a week routine has been really good. So that's something I've kept up with, and I feel good about this part, even though it takes some time every week. But I want to continue building a new, better beauty routine for this stage of my life. I am interested in kind of finding a balance in between makeup that enhances my features the way I want to, and I'll circle back to that in a second, but also like not too much. I feel like usually I'm much more comfortable with being either all or nothing. I'm either like this, nothing, or everything. And I am good at doing the everything. I am very good. What I'm not good is doing that in between, that like effortless, that day to day, because I think a lot of my features benefit from having a little bit more. When you just have like very minimal, like that 5-minute makeup routine doesn't do much for me. Like I feel like I might as well just not wear anything at all, or I go like all the way glam, right? I need to find some kind of a middle ground. If you're feeling the same way in your life right now, you let me know, because we could truck along on this beauty journey together. Yeah, I want like a little bit more than just regular, but something that really fits me. Not only fits my lifestyle, but ends up in a way that makes me feel good about what I'm presenting, even just to myself. I've also been opening the door to the idea of cosmetic enhancements. Now, before we get all opinionated, I feel like at the end of the day, by this time, it is your body. You are grown. You figure out what you want to do with all this business. And as long as you go through it, go with it safely, do your well-researched route, do what you like, to be honest. And what would appeal to me, I think, I am currently exploring the ideas of getting maybe like a lip tattoo. Have you guys heard of this? I think they call it a lip blush or lip whatever. It's not the old school lip liners, but it's like semi-permanent makeup, right? And thank goodness now permanent makeup is actually like semi-permanent makeup. One of the things I've over the years have always had to try and recontour with makeup is my upper lip. Naturally, they blend into the color of my skin, and I don't have a lot of definition. I feel like my bottom lip is a whole lot bigger than my top lip. So I'm looking into maybe getting them done so that there's more of a balance with my top and bottom lip. So that's a thought I have. I might do a bit more research and look at maybe around spring, because you'll need some healing time, and I don't want to do the healing while I'm at work because you're going to be like all tricky around here. So that's a thought for me. I'm still, again, on that fence with the microblading. I don't think I'm fully on the train yet, only because number one, it's quite an investment. And there might be other things coming up, which I will talk about for this year, that might, be a better use of my money than getting my eyebrows microbladed. But this year, actually, this summer, I had tried lash extensions for the first time. Let me tell you, they are not my jam. I thought that would just be fun to try out. Like every summer, I try to do one new thing, right? Usually it's a beauty thing that I just want to try, like low risk, nobody's seeing me, I'm on summer break, and lash extensions was my thing. Now these lash extensions, the person did a great job, the artist did a great job, nothing against them. I just didn't like the way that they felt, and they were done so well. I got them done at the beginning of August. Only in middle of December did I finally lose the last lash. They lasted that long. Oh yeah. Anyways, looking into a beauty routine. Moving on. I also want to look at, especially with all these health things that happened this year, I want to delve into the idea of a better holistic and wellness lifestyle, routine, reevaluation, whatever you want to call it, because I think a lot of the things I need to reevaluate in my life. I want to look at maybe dietary things. I've always eaten whatever I want, and I don't have any major allergies or stuff like that, so it's been pretty lucky in that sense. But even things like what supplements would be good for me in this time of life, or what dietary add-ons would be good for me. I want to explore more of my extended health benefits. Having injured my back this year taught me the importance of doing other things for yourself. Going to physio was eye-opening. I didn't know, I knew people did physio and chiro and massages and stuff like that, but it was fascinating, the things that you could learn about your body, that there is to learn about your body through how did I know that hurting my back means that my core was really weak, right? Things that you wouldn't know as an average person per se, unless you really delved into the depths of these things. I want to take advantage of more of the things in my extended health to explore things like more physio for certain weird things that I'm starting to feel. I want to look at maybe visiting a chiropractor, tell me about my back, what is happening, what is not happening that's supposed to happen. And I also am really curious about visiting a naturopath. I'm so lucky to live in a big city where there's like a lot of options to see all these specialists. And over the years, I just haven't been using all these benefits in my healthcare plan because I'm like, nothing major is happening. I'm doing just fine. But I'm also learning some of that is, it could accumulate and you never know what's going to drop from the sky. So I want to spend some time to nourish that part of my life. Which, by the way, I fully understand that most of the things I'm looking forward to in 2024 are very millennial of me. It's interesting that somehow I got into this rabbit hole of like millennials versus Gen Zs, and the things that millennials really care about are the things I care about. And the things that like Gen Zs are caring about. And the kids that I work with, I believe they're like Gen Alphas, which is a completely crazy concept to me, but that's another video for another day. But yeah, this whole holistic health thing, I very clearly understand is very stereotypically millennial, but that also just comes to show that we're in a certain stage in our lives. And I know some of you watching are of a similar age range to me, and some of you are a little bit older, or some of you are a little bit younger. But I think taking care of ourselves in all of these aspects is important in any stage of our life. It just took me this long to really go, oh yeah, I might want to dig into that a little bit deeper. Next thing I want to do in 2024 is expand my hobbies. Sewing has always been a hobby I've come back to, and sometimes I don't feel like sewing. But I'm not a knitter, and I'm not a crocheter, because I just can't get on with repetitiveness of things. But I want to try something else. So let me know if you've got a fun hobby you think I'd be interested in, adjacent to something using your hands. I know lots of people like pottery. I'm not 100% sure, because then pottery is quite expensive to do where I live, and I don't have the home setup, so I would have to go to a studio, which is a whole nother thing. But I've done it a couple times for drop-ins, and it's always been really fun. I would love to explore maybe woodworking, but I don't know how I can do that in the limited capacity of living in a small apartment to do woodworking. I love to do a little bit more searching about that. I think woodworking would be so much fun. I don't even know what I could make. Like, there's not a lot of space in my apartment for me to make stuff, or the need to make stuff, but I want new opportunities and exploring different hobbies that use my hands. Another consideration is maybe trying out weaving or embroidery. Most of these hobbies will produce stuff, which is something I gotta think about, because if it's not stuff I'm going to use, what do I do with said stuff that is the result of my practicing hobby? Let me know if you have thoughts on that. I know at work, a couple of teachers have formed a pickleball, like an after-school pickleball thing that I've walked into a couple of times because I had to look for somebody. I'm like, something's happening in the gym. I don't know a lot about pickleball. What they tell me is anyone can do it, which apparently means I could do it too. It's not very hard. But that's kind of on the table. And I also want to go back to exploring the idea of learning a new language. I speak multiple languages with varying degrees of fluency, languages / dialects. And as a English language teacher, it's always, that sideline fascination for me. But learning a language has always been really hard. So I've never really committed to a routine of learning a language, but the fascination is always there, and I'd be maybe open to exploring that again, just as something different to do other than sewing. Now, the last thing that's going to close up my 2024 plans is that I would like to do some traveling. I think there is an opportunity for me to visit the motherland with my family. Having, all of my grandparents who have now passed, there are some things we gotta do that my parents are going to lead, but they are planning a trip back to China. And I don't know how all of you feel if you're I call us like the 1.5 generation. you know, you might be born out of the country and then you move somewhere new, and because of schooling, circumstance, whatever, you don't have a big connection to your motherland. Over the years, I've been exploring my relationship with how I feel about the place I was born, the culture, the heritage, the language, all those aspects, and how that fit into my identity and my life, especially my grown life, and especially as I continue to age and mature, hopefully. But there's an opportunity to go visit. My parents are going to go for sure. I haven't decided if I'm going to go, but I've been really good in saving up some money every month to put in like a lump sum in case I decide I want to go, just so I have, you know, some money to put away for tickets and stuff like that. It's one of those things where you feel like if you go back, you are really a foreigner. And I don't know how to contend with such feelings, but again, that might be a video for another day. But there's an opportunity to go. I might go, I might not go. I have not been back to China since I was in the 7th grade, which is a long time. So I think I've only been, after, you know, leaving in 1st grade, I've only been back once. That's a long time. My family has gone, my sibling has gone. I, you know, was in university, this, that, the other thing. I just haven't gone. So to go back as an adult to try and mingle with relatives who know me that I don't really know, to think about that, you know, my own heritage and all of that, that's a lot of layers, you know, to this onion. So maybe some traveling is in my future. And if I don't go all the way that far, I at least hope to do some close by traveling, because I'm still looking forward to doing more camping trips once the weather warms up. We have just passed the longest night of the year, like the winter solstice, or I guess the shortest day, if you want to call it that way. And I am so looking forward to it getting brighter and brighter and the days being longer, even if incrementally by milliseconds. That brings me a lot of hope and a lot of joy. So that is my plan for 2024, with the goal of nourishing all the parts of my life. And I would love to hear what your thoughts are on either what's transpired in 2023. Do you feel like we've just been in a slump over the last couple of years? What are your, you know, highs and lows? What do you look forward to? Which direction do you hope to move in, you know, and go in for the next upcoming 12 months? Because a lot can happen in then, who knows? But I hope you enjoyed this video. It's definitely very long, I can tell, because I had to break down these clips into like multiple clips, but I really enjoyed chatting with you. We haven't done this in a while. So I'm hoping to make a quick edit of this and get it posted. So it would be my last video of this year, which means Happy New Year to everybody. Well wishes, strength and hope, and just I hope that you are continuing to move forward. All right, I will see you in the next video for January. Take care, everybody. Bye.